Today I'm going to show you how to represent population by a particular region using ArcGIS. Now, either the data is already in the system and that makes everything so much easier, or you'll have to add it yourself, which I will make a different video about, or I can talk to you in class. But first of all, we always want to assume the data is already there. So what we're going to do is we are going to add a layer and look through ArcGIS online. And we're going to type our country and population afterwards. So I'll do a few different examples, but we'll start off with Afghanistan and write population straight after. And here we've already got Afghanistan population by province, pretty easy, so that's not working. That's okay, that happens. The next one down is Afghanistan districts. This is more what I was looking for. And so this data is basically just the districts. But if we then go over to styles, now if you're not already here, just click on the styles tab, choose attributes field. This is where you are this is where you're selecting which data you want to show on the map. So I will assume this is the population. And here it is showing us the amount of people in each district of Afghanistan, where the larger the circle, the greater the population, the smaller circle, the less there is in each individual district. So this way of representing it as circles or symbols is a really good idea if you already have a choropleth map in the background. For example, you might have a choropleth map showing water stress in Afghanistan by region, and so by showing it, by district, and so by showing population as these circles, you can then see whether or not the most water stressed sites have higher population and what that might lead to, or whether most people live in areas with good water security, whatever you find there. But you can also show population as a choropleth map by changing your style, and this would then allow you to represent another feature using symbols. For example, we might now show where different earthquakes have occurred and whether they are occurring in regions with higher populations or lower populations. And we might represent those earthquakes as little circles. You could show where particular facilities are, where conflict has happened, but the population being in the background makes it a lot easier to read and look at those spatial patterns. Now, something else I have noticed, before I say that, you can change the colors by going through style options and picking your colors that way. Something I've noticed is with this map in particular, there is Arabic writing, which doesn't really help your assignment. So this is just telling you the name of each district. There's a few things you can do. First things first is if you click on labels, that is where you can change what that is. I just want to really quickly check if there's actually an English translation here. If you head back to your layers menu and click on show table, this is all the data that you've got. There are names written in English, so we are going to look for Prov 34 names. I think that means province by name. There it is, and now it's changed over to English, and so that way you can now refer to particular names of provinces. You also don't have to have that at all, and if there are names in the background, as you can see on the base map, there are names in the background. You can change the transparency of the map so you can see some of those places. Sometimes I think adding labels are just easier. And it's particularly good because, sorry, I'm going a little off track now. You might have a different kind of map in the background and there's no actual names, so you have to add them yourself. Anyways, I don't want to get too off topic, so let's go and add a population to another country. Oh, sorry, before we lose track, don't forget to always go back and rename the layer so that we are being very accurate for when we export this map, and this will be what the population shows. Population by districts. I should look for what the year is, but I'm not too sure. I'll check in the next one, but Yeah, we'll check the next one. Let's go over to do, let's do Saudi Arabia. So add ArcGIS online, Saudi Arabia population. Region boundaries. This, there we go, 2024 population count. So styles, field, population. And this is already quite transparent. So if you wanted it to not be so transparent, you can go in and change that however you like. And again, I would rename that population by region 2024. Awesome. Let's do another country as an example. Let's do India. Now these are quite a lot of projections, which means future ones. Here we have population of India. Only goes to 2011. Don't really want to do that one. Alright, let's just do this one by district. I notice how this one is sub-district. Oh, actually, this looks like it's by state, which might be a little less messy. Oh, village level, okay. That seems like it would be a bit messy. Let's have a look. Of course, in your own report, you'll know what you're looking for. You will know whether you want to represent it by state or electorate or city, suburb, whatever it is. Alright, this one's taking ages, so I can already tell it's going to be something crazy, small scale, like a village. Oh, I shouldn't have clicked that. Okay, is there a way I can stop this? We're just going to have to commit.
One eternity later.
Okay, that didn't work. Thank goodness. That took forever. Let's just go to this one down here, which is by district. Okay, oh my goodness. There are so many. That is okay. We'll just look for the sake of it. If you want to show projections, that's awesome. I probably don't. So, wow, there are a lot of things here. Oh my goodness. It's got total population, male, female. Population growth as a percentage. Ooh, there are some really interesting things that you could show. I'm actually going to show a few things right now. Okay, so first of all, if you just wanted to show the current 2025 population by district, you would just click that. And that looks a bit messy, so you'd probably do that. Awesome. However, given they actually have these other options here to do it by gender, I'm really interested in looking at this. Let's go male, female, add. Ooh, I have an idea. I want to do something. Okay, so now it opens up a few more things that you can show. I think, so now I've got it as a little pie chart where you can see the split. Okay, it's pretty even. Anyway, I suppose the point is not to show you what to do with India. The point is to show you what you can do with other maps. That's pretty cool. If you wanted to, you could even show the total population in the background. Oh, I didn't really do it what I wanted to do. That's okay. But I think it's really cool that you can show the population growth over recent years. I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, so always have a look through these fields because it actually shows you so many different features that you can lay out on a map. How interesting. All right, let's do one more. Let's do Australia. Oh, there's so many awesome ones. Let's have a look at... Oh, population grid. Okay, these are just showing you the total number of people for each region, whether it be state, province, whatever. It's just a total number. You don't know where exactly they are. It just tells you that's how many people there are. When it says population grid, this is where it actually shows you specifically where the people are based. So as we can see in this legend, grey is no population, and all these other dots are the density. So we can see it does it by a particular grid. It could be like a square kilometre or something like that. Usually the information would tell you. Oops, it's opened up in a new tab, but usually you can just read it here. Yeah, per square kilometre. How interesting. And then you can see mostly where most people are actually living. So you may not have that for every single country, but you will be able to represent population in one way or another. And I have shown you a few different ways. Hope that's really helpful. If not, of course, always feel free to email or ask me in class and I will gladly help you. Remember, if your data is not in ArcGIS and you can't find it, there are ways to add it yourself, but we would hope that they are usually already in here in one way or another. I hope you enjoyed, and yes, ask for help if there is anything else that doesn't quite make sense. See you later.